Hello, Ray Phoenix here, and this is Bomb Jack, the arcade classic, the underrated arcade masterpiece from 1984. 1984 is the year where the gaming industry was mostly dead, but some people were still pulling out some really good classics, and this is no exception. This is Bomb Jack, a pretty awesome game where you play as some weird cartoon bat superhero thing. I have no idea what he is or what he's supposed to be. You can jump freakishly high, you can move the joystick around, you can manipulate his jumping, you can manipulate his trajectory, make him jump high or jump around stuff or over stuff, and you have to collect a lot of stuff. This game is very similar to Pac-Man in a lot of ways, where Pac-Man collects dots in a maze while avoiding ghosts. Bomb Jack collects bombs in a level while avoiding the enemies, and the enemies look pretty weird and messed up. Kind of like Jumping Flash almost, where you can jump really high and jump around enemies that look, really messed up. These people who made this game were clearly on something. I don't know what it could have been. Could have been coffee, could have been Red Bull, I have no idea. I've been drinking Red Bull a lot lately, because I find that coffee just doesn't cut it for me anymore. I need something to help keep me jolted. So I started drinking Red Bull. This game came back to my attention recently because I was at an arcade in Perth, Western Australia. They had an actual arcade machine of this game there at the arcade. It was really fun. I just spent a few hours at this point sitting standing there playing Bomb Jack, and people are staring at me, wondering, what's wrong with this guy? Why is he just standing there playing Bomb Jack? Who would be so interested in a game like this that is over 40 or 40-something years later? Well, I'm still interested in this. This game actually does have a lot of strategy and planning and tactics. You see, there's one bomb that's ignited right now. If you collect that one, it gets more points, and collect the next one that gets ignited, you get even more points. And you collect that P thing, that's pretty much turns all the items into coins, kind of like what the power pellets do in Pac-Man. And this game actually does have a lot of strategy involved, and I find my scores in this game often form a scatter plot, kind of like my scores in Asteroids. I didn't really notice that about Asteroids until recently, that most of my scores are never like the same. Like sometimes I get like a really high score and sometimes I get a very low score. Just like in this game, I find this game is very much the same thing. Sometimes my scores are like freakishly large and sometimes they're freakishly small. Sometimes there's a lot of factors that determine your score, like depending on how many of those ignited bombs you collect or how many enemies you collect, and you have the P thing that makes them turn into coins. I'm sure this is a pretty messed up game, but I think it's still pretty good. I first played this game years ago when it was on the Tecmo collection for the original Xbox. It's strange because collections like that, like compilations of classic game collections, usually come out on all the systems that are out at the time. But for some reason, this specific collection was released exclusively on the original Xbox, which I thought was kind of odd, but I'm not going to complain. It gave me another justification to buy an original Xbox. Heck, even gave me a justification to buy another one after my original Xbox died to those, what do you call them, those capacitors or ruptured capacitors? Yeah, Xbox are notorious for being killed by those things that they leak all the white goo everywhere. It makes a big sticky mess. This game also reminds me of a game that I saw a very long time ago, like a PC game. I think it was an indie PC game from like the late 90s, early 2000s. It's some sort of Christmas game that I played on Windows 98. Where it's very similar to this, but you play as an elf in a very similar venue, and you collect presents, like Christmas presents, and it played Christmas music in the background. It was also somewhat similar to Mario Brothers, the 1983 arcade game Mario Brothers. Not the Super Mario Bros., the Mario Brothers arcade game. It was very similar to that, actually. I've never been able to find this game. I have no idea what it's called. I've been looking for it for years. I never managed to find it. I recently have it written off as being a form of lost media. I've been watching a lot of lost media videos lately, and apparently video games can, be included or could count toward as being lost media. So I guess this is some lost media that I found, lost media that I discovered. Bomb Jack actually did have some sequels, though. Bomb Jack had a sequel called Mighty Bomb Jack, which was on the NES, which wasn't that good. It's funny, I actually first heard of Mighty Bomb Jack was the first one I heard of because Stan Birdman did a review on that game many years ago, and he joked about how Mighty Bomb Jack, that sounds like a reggae song, Mighty Bomb Jastic, it is fantastic, or something like that. Yeah, that does sound like something. I still have no idea what Bomb Jack is supposed to be. Is he like a bat superhero kind of thing? What the hell is he supposed to be? He can jump freakishly high. What's his story? How did he become like this? I often equate this game to Jumping Flash sometimes, because it involves jumping really fast and jumping around stuff and collecting stuff just like in Jumping Flash kind of thing. They're vaguely similar, but I still see the similarities in that. It's also had another game called Bomb Jack Twin, which I actually had on the same emulator that I'm playing this game right now. Unfortunately, I couldn't film the actual arcade machine because it requires two hands. but if it did require one hand like Frogger or Ms. Pac-Man, I'd definitely be filming it, so I have to play it on an emulator instead. I'm not even using a controller at all, I'm just using a keyboard because that's all I have right now. It's just my PC keyboard, which actually isn't that great of a keyboard anyways because it's not really intended for gaming. And the keys, the arrow keys often get stuck, and they leave characters spinning around, like spazzing out and spinning around kind of thing. Which isn't that good. I really need to get my keyboard service. I also need to get my Samsung Galaxy A53 phone service too, because that thing just keeps really scary. That thing just randomly opens up apps and randomly opens up files and goes to random websites without me doing anything. It's actually really scary. It's like it's possessed by the devil or something like that. So I need to have that phone service, and because of that, I'm using my A04S phone right now, which is it's supposed to be of a lower grade than the A53, but it's giving me superior results. It's never done any of that weird stuff on me. And I'm using it right now to record the commentary for this video, and I think this is going pretty good, actually. It's a really good phone, the A04S. It gets the Ray Phoenix seal of approval. There was no such thing as a Ray Phoenix seal of approval before now, because I just made that up right now, the Ray Phoenix seal of approval. It's new, and this game definitely gets the Ray Phoenix seal of approval. This Bomb Jack game, this underrated classic. Bomb Jack's probably going to become my new obsession. I'm probably going to become obsessed with him to a point where I draw fan art of him every single day. I spend every single waking moment wonder what he's doing, and wonder where he is, wondering where the nearest Bomb Jack game is going to be, what Bomb Jack is going to be doing next. Why didn't he ever have an animated series? Why was he never a household name like Pac-Man? I guess the world will never know. It's probably going to be one of those unsolved mysteries. Like tonight on Unsolved Mysteries, we're going to find out who gives a crap about Bigfoot. Update, no one gives a crap about him, so fudge him. And that's the levels kind of cycled too. Sometimes we're like going to ancient Egypt, now it looks like we're in ancient Greece now, and sometimes it looks like we're in pre-9/11 New York City, with the Twin Towers proudly displaying themselves in the backgrounds, back in a time when everyone hated the Twin Towers. Music in this game isn't that bad. I didn't really talk much about the music in this game, but the music in this game is actually really good, It's actually pretty good. It's not bad for an arcade game of this day and age. This game is, like I said, this is a really great, awesome masterpiece overall. I really wish there were more games like this. If any of you out there on YouTube land know about more great games like this, please tell me. I'd like to know. And that's the second highest score I ever got at this game. To a point where my score dominates the entire leaderboard, which is pretty average for all the arcade games I have on here. So this is Bomb Jack, an underrated masterpiece. This is Ray Phoenix, signing out.